This is a part of the session on name analysis. I'm going to go into hinge letters. Hinge letters are an odd middle letter. In the case of Roy, it would be the O in the name Roy, Roy. In the case of Frank, it would be the A in the middle. In the case of Carol, it would be the R in the middle. And in the case of Logan, the name, it would be the G in the middle. And in Michelle, it would be the H. And in Michael, it would be the H. And in the word Clark, it would be the A. And in the name David, it would be the V. In the name Bridget, it would be the D. But now we're going to go over some of these things. And in the name Sally, it would be an L, the middle L. And Brian, it would be an I, and so on and so forth. And the middle letter usually indicates a hang up or a deficiency that the person has or something that they have to work on. In the case of Frank, the A being the middle or hinge letter. The hinge letter is always like the middle letter, the odd letter. If you have 9 letters, it's the one in the middle, 4 on each side, and the one in the middle. In the name Marie, it's the R in the middle, the 5th letter. And the name Nancy, it would be the N, which is the 5th letter in the middle. So it's the odd. If you have a name or a word that has like 6 letters, there's no middle letter. But 5 there is, and 9 there is, and 7 there is, and so forth, and 11 there is. There's always a middle one. Now, the middle one has to do with karma and what the person has to learn to work on. In the case of Frank, they have to learn how to be aggressive or try to be a leader or number one without stepping on toes. And their hang-up is their independence as well as their leadership capabilities. And that would be an issue in their life one way or the other, wanting to be boss or in charge or on their own or in their own business or whatever. It's also, because it's an A and a 1, it could involve August or Leo people as well as February or Aquarius people, and those born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th day of any month. In the case of Roy, R-O-Y, O is the hinge letter, and that has to do with family or emotional situations. It's the 15th letter of our alphabet, and it has to do with the planet Venus, and it's affected by people born in May or Taurus, as well as October or Libra, and those born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th day of any month. So those people that are born on those days and those issues would be their karma dealing with such people and such issues. The name Marie has a hinge letter of an R right in the middle, and that's karma of the mental world, learning to trust one's own mind and mentality and depend on your own thinking or thoughts and trust your beliefs rather than having to depend on someone else. It's the 18th letter of the alphabet, and it's the 18-9, and a person always has to avoid upheaval in their life. That has to do with decisions and the mind. It also is affected by April or Aries people, November or Scorpio people, and those born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th day of any month. Now, the name Nancy has a hinge letter of an N. An N has to do with Mercury, which is Gemini or Virgo. And it also can deal with people born on the 5th, 14th, or 23rd day of any month. And the N has to do with the need to be needed, and a person with an N as a hinge letter has to learn to give wise service and not to do too much. The word Bridget has a D as a hinge letter, and that has to do with family situations and how close or how far somebody wants to be in relationship to their family. And it's the fourth letter of the alphabet, and it's ruled by the planet Uranus. It involves people born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st of any month. And also, it's associated with the 1-4, which is August or Leo people, as well as February or Aquarius people. And again, those born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th of any month, because it's associated with the number 1 series. Now, the name Carol, it's the same karma as the name Marie, learning to trust one's own judgment and thought. Again, it's karma of the mental world, and affected by Aries and Scorpios, as well as those born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th day of any month. The name Raymond has a hinge letter of M, which is the middle letter, and that has to do with restrictions, not wanting people to restrict you or limit you or tell you what to do would be a big issue. And the people with that M are very self-serving, and it's also a planet, Uranus, such as Bridget or David would have, and it's guided by those born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st of any month, and also associated with August or Leo, because the 1-4 connection, and February or Aquarius. So it could be somebody with one or more of those propensities would be an antagonistic to the person or cause them challenges. The name Michael has to do with a hinge letter of H, which is financial, and it also deals with January Capricorn people and February or Aquarius people. Both Leo and Saturn, or the Sun and Saturn, both are affected by February or Aquarius, and it would also be affected by people born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th day of any month would be antagonistic, as well as January or Capricorn and February or Aquarius. Now, the word Clark would be very similar to the name Frank. It has to do with being number 1 and in charge, and August or Leo and February Aquarius, and those born on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th. Now, the name David has a hinge letter of V, which is, it's a person that has to learn to give others as much freedom as they themselves require. And it's a person that learns from their own mistakes. They could have contact with unusual people in their life, or foreign people, whatever's foreign to them. The word Logan has a G as a middle letter, and that's a hang-up about work and communication, and usually they get into situations of varying schedule. They would be affected by people born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month, as well as July or Cancer people, and those born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th day of any month. The name Michelle would have similar to Michael. It's a karma of financial matters and hang up about finances. And again, January Capricorn, February Aquarius, people born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th day of any month. The name Brian has an I in the middle, and that's the hinge letter, the middle letter, the odd letter, and has to do with self-identity. The I always wants to be recognized for what they do or their contribution, and it's a hang-up. And again, the antagonistic would be April or Aries, as well as November or Scorpios, and those born on the 9th, 18th, or 27th day of any month. Of course, this is kind of like a mini course. I'm giving you the concept about middle letters, and I'm trying to give you some good examples of how they interplay with people.